I have noticed something that a lot of people have not noticed, and I'm going to tell you what I have noticed. I'm a millennial. I grew up in the 90s, right? And what we watched, we had a lot of TV shows for teen. Lizzie McGuire, Sister, Even Steven, That's So Raven. I don't know. We had so many teenage shows, right? Degrassi. We have so many, right? But what I have realized in the year of 2025, we don't have anything for teenagers, especially for teenage girls. Back then in the 90s, we had celebrities who were teenagers, right? In 2025, it's probably not that many celebrities who are who are teenagers in 2025. It's not that many. If it is, it's a very few of them. And it's not like nowadays everybody has to be super perfect. Nobody can make mistakes. Like back then, the celebrities wear whatever they wanted. They didn't make mistakes. Yes, the paparazzi and the media make fun of them because, come on, it's the media and the paparazzi because that's all they have. That's all they do. But besides that, they still had the ability to grow in public, right, as a celebrity and make their own mistakes, right, even though people like to make fun of them. But anyway, that's not the whole point of the video. And also for us in the 90s, kids also had a lot of TV shows, a lot of movies, everything. The entertainment world, they had so many things for teenagers, right? And we had to grow with these celebrities. We had to grow with the show. We ended up learning about a lot of topics. I learned a lot from watching TV shows growing up. So many things. And I feel like nowadays is nothing for teenagers at all. They went from watching baby shows to being watching adult shows, right? There's nothing in between. And I think that's a small part of why a lot of teenage girls are having a lot of anxiety or depression or whatever issue. I think that's a small part of it because like they don't have nothing for them. They're stripped away anything in the middle ground. Even for boys, even though boys still have the same stuff somewhat, even boys still have the Pokemon thing, the anime, the video games and all, but they're slowly also taking that away from boys. Slowly, they're taking longer to take it from boys because the people who make these rules are guys, and the guys grew up with watching these stuff, playing games and all that stuff. But slowly, they are also taking video games for boys. Everything is bad nowadays. Everything is literally bad. Come on, man. Why millennials are so smart and progressive? The researchers, the scientists, the media, everything have say time and time again, millennials is one of the progressive generation and they're one of the smartest. And I'm gonna tell you why I think there is. It's because in the 90s, TV shows talked about everything, every topic you could think of they had storylines, they had story to tell, and they put it on TV shows. We learn so much through TV. We learn a lot through entertainment. I gotta say, people learn a lot through entertainment, and the reason why we end up being the most and the most progressive and the most smart generation is because we learn a lot. We was exposed to a lot of stuff and we learned from it. Most of us, I'm not gonna say all of it, most of us did stupid stuff, yes, because as a teenager we're supposed to do stupid stuff and we learn from it, right? But nowadays people cannot make mistakes. Everything is a problem, right? And I'm happy that less people are drinking alcohol nowadays because alcohol is not good for you, but we still had the ability to drink alcohol as teenagers, even though we shouldn't have. But we was still exposed to a lot of stuff, and that's the reason why we as millennials grew up more intelligent, more progressive, and more, and we wanted to heal our trauma because we was exposed to a lot of stuff. But I feel like in 2025, just stripping away from everything, stripping away. And if you watch TV shows, they don't have that many TV shows for teenagers, not that many. And I know people are gonna say Euphoria, whatever that show is, because I don't even watch it. But when I looked up the name of the show, because I know the name of the show, it's basically all about sex. It's a show about sex, right? Come on, that's not a teenage show at all. Maybe a sprinkle here and there, but no. They don't have anything for teenagers. Everything is PG. Everything, we can't talk about anything. In YouTube, everything has to be PG now. Nobody could talk about anything nowadays. And you wonder why these teenagers are like depressed and anxiety, because nowadays everything's bad. Nowadays we can't talk about that. We can't do that. We can't just like that. You have to be perfect 24/7. And I feel like that's not a good thing for society. It's not. It is not. We're going down that deep hole, pretend everything's perfect 24/7. And as humans, that's not a good thing. It's not, because humans learn from making mistakes. But these teenagers are learning that they cannot make mistakes, because if they make mistakes, they're going to feel like they're going to get in trouble. People are going to make fun of them. All this stuff. It's going to be so much, like, it is ridiculous how crazy this world is coming to. It's like everything's bad now. Everything is bad. I don't get it. Like, oh, and then now the government's trying to tell you what games that your kids could play. First of all, it's not the government's job to tell the parents what games they want their kids to play. It's the parents. If the parents want them to play certain games, who cares? Then it's not your problem. Come on, man. Millennials play games of all type of games, and we're fine. We're the most progressive, most intelligent generation ever, because we were exposed to a lot of stuff. And the reason why they don't want the next generation, Gen Alpha or Gen Beta, because Gen Beta's just started to get born in 2025. The reason why they're trying to ban everything? Because they don't want another generation to be as most progressive as millennials. They're trying to shut that shit down. They don't want people to talk about topics. They want everybody to be perfect 24/7, because if people talk about any topics, we learn. If people communicate and tell them their story, people learn. That's how people learn, from storytelling, for telling their point of view, for seeing their perspective. The government wants to shut everything down. They don't want another progressive generation. But what they forget is mostly all Gen Alpha are being born by millennials. Millennials are the parents of Gen Alpha for the most part. Come on, man. We're going to teach our kids to be progressive. First of all. Yes. What else I want to talk about? Oh, social media. Teenage girls. I want to talk about, since I said earlier that teenage girls don't have anything for them, right? They went from watching little kids shows to adult stuff, right? And then they go to social media, YouTube and TikTok, right? They go to these two apps, and guess what they do? They find girls who wear makeup. Adult girls wearing makeup. And they think that that's what they're supposed to do. So you're exposing teenage girls that you had to be an adult while they're a teenager. They don't know anything yet. So they're like teenagers thinking that they're 30 because they watch everything for adults. They have nothing for their progress. They have nothing to say, hey. They have nobody to show them how to process their emotions. So they go from being 10 years old to 30 in an instant. And you wonder why most of these teenage girls have so much issues. It's because it's a small part of the reason why all these girls have so much issues is because They have nothing for themselves. Nothing for themselves. The government is banning everything for kids. They always come and say, "Oh, it's for the safety of the kids." First of all, that's a lie, because it's the parents' choice what the kids do and do not do. It's not the government's job to tell what should be of age for that kid. No, it's the parents' choice. The parents decide what they want the kids to be exposed. But the government trying to ban everything and then say, "See, you're the problem, parent." No, everything. I just have to say that this is going to get worse. It is going to get worse before it gets better. More stuff is going to get banned. Nobody's going to ignore it. People's going to complain, maybe. But they're going to, it is for the kids. It's for the safety. No, it's not for the safety. It's because they're trying to control more people. That's what it is. They don't want people to be more knowledgeable. They don't want people to have more stories to tell. They want everything to be perfect 24/7. That's what it is. That's what it is. They don't like seeing people sharing their opinions, their stories, their anything online. That's the reason why is all these banning stuff. Ban this, ban that. Come on, man. I thought we're supposed to be the land of the free. Come on. Seriously? We're not the land of the free. We have the illusion of the free. Of freedom. Anyway, what I was talking about? I ranted a little bit. But my whole point is that we need to have more. We need more entertainment for teenagers, more, because they shut everything down. Everything's banned. Nothing's made. It's like, it's very sad. I do generally see this as a very sad, because I'm remembering growing up in the 90s, we had so many TV shows. I was addicted to TV. I was literally glued to the TV, watching TV shows after TV shows after TV shows. I don't know how did I have so many time to watch TV, but I watch Spanish TV, English TV, But nowadays it's just baby shows to adult shows. We need a Lizzie McGuire for teenagers of 2025. That's what we need. That's what we need. We need weird, quirky girls on entertainment, because a lot of us are weird. We are weird, and it's fine to be weird. But anyway, my whole point of this video is to share my opinions about what's happening on TV shows, on the entertainment world, what's happening with all these bans. And it's going to get worse because nobody wants to talk about it. People always want to point the finger at somebody else. People want to always say, "Oh, the parents aren't doing a job." Well, the parents we've been doing the same thing for generations, and all of us been fine. We have progressed as a species. We're a little bit more knowledgeable about mental health. Yes, I'm so grateful for being 22.5 and more people talking about mental health. But we also need entertainment to tell these stories. Without entertainment and without TV shows that talk about mental health, it's going to be useless, because not every parent is in that level. Not every parent talks to their kid about mental health. I didn't have that. I learned everything that I know from TV shows growing up, and now in the internet, and now in the audiobooks, and now in the podcast, right? But back then, I learned so much because of TV shows, and we need to bring that back. We need to bring more story time. We need more topics and stories. We have so much topics in TV shows. In Degrassi, if you ever watched Degrassi, they had gun violence, and they had abortion episodes. They have so many bullying episodes. In every show, a lot of these 90s shows, they have bullying episodes. And we need to talk about that. We need to have these topics in these shows. If you take all these topics away from these shows, it's like so blah. Like, we need story times, topics to, and some of these kids don't have parents that are aware of anything, so they need an entertainment show to show them, this is another way to talk to you, to what could happen if you do this. Like, I remember in an episode of Degrassi, they had the girl cutting herself, and they talked about her process and all that stuff. That we need more of that to explain what would happen if somebody would do that. We need more topics and more entertainment shows. We do. That's how people learn. If we cut everything, all of that out, we're gonna be a society that doesn't grow more, doesn't be more knowledgeable, and more like mental. Like, we all talk about mental health now, but like, the only reason why we talk about mental health now is because of these 90s shows talk about topics. This is the reason why we need to keep doing that, for we could be more progress in all this stuff. But they're shutting everything down, and that's not good for society at all, because who's gonna, a lot of parents are not gonna talk to their kids about anything. Some of these parents don't talk to them. Then these kids are gonna learn everything in the streets, and then you're gonna get mad. But why? And then it's like a whole circle. If you have shows, if you like, nowadays we don't have anything, nothing for teenagers. Everything is banned. You can't go to the mall in time for teenagers because you need an adult supervision. Everything's an adult supervision. Sometimes you need just freedom. Sometimes you just need you need to give kids a little freedom for they can learn their mistakes, and that's how they learn. That's how they're going to learn from their mistakes. But if you ban everything, accept them to be perfect from the age of 10 to until they die, guess what? Nobody's going to learn anything. We're going to just be fake people. Unless that's what you want. That's type of citizens you want as living here. Just fake people pretending we are perfect all the time. That's not how people grow. That's not how people learn. We had to make mistakes. We had to watch stories. This is what entertainment is also good, because entertainment shows you story time from what other perspective happened. And that's what I learned about perspective. I used to love watching TV shows because I love watching other perspective about what could happen if somebody do this. Well, anyway, I just wanted to share this. I had to go back to work, and I probably have more to say, but I don't want to get in trouble. So, have a good day, and let's have a good day.